ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् तामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ नारायणः परो व्यक्तात् अण्डमव्ययसम्भवम् अण्डस्यान्तस्त्विमे लोकाः सप्तद्वीपा च मेदिनी। We have been looking at these verses which unfold the vision of the Veda that all that is here is one self, which is, as it were, obtaining in this body-mind-sense complex, and that same self is also nothing but that which is equated to the ruler of the universe, Ishvara. Ishvara is not yet come into the picture because the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are an expose of the Tvam Pada Vichara, an analysis into the word you. You means what? I. And so this, what is this Tvam? What is this I? And how does it unfold? All these things are talked about very, very beautifully. That this I is not part and parcel of the body, mind, sense complex. So many things we have understood so far. Let us just recall them because this section is going to get over. So, before the summation of this section, let us see what all we have studied, what all we have culled from this analysis. And first is, there is something that is not part of this body, mind, sense complex, number one. And what is that thing called? I, Atma. Second thing is that this is not born, not gone ever. No beginning, no end. And not only no beginning, no end, no vikara, no change. No beginning, that is the past, no end, no future, and even in the present, no change. No beginning, no end, no change, Atma. That is where the I should go and land. So when I refer to myself, I should refer to this Atma which is being unfolded in the Bhagavad Gita, in these from verses 11 to 230. This is the vision. So that is the second point. And the third point is that even though it is closely associated with the body, mind and senses, it is not affected by whatever is going on with the body, mind, sense complex. Why? Because it is asanga, uninvolved with everything else, anything else. So, because it's the as though association of two completely opposite things. The one without beginning, without middle, without end, which is that Atma, and then the body definitely has a beginning, middle and end. And Atma, forever sentient, body forever insentient. Atma, self-revealing, body has to be revealed by Atma. Correct? So they have nothing in common, and yet they are in close association. And just like when the crystal is living in the presence of a red cloth and looks to be red, the redness of the cloth does not rub off on the crystal. Even though it looks to be red, it is an apparent truth, not the reality. And then what else did we learn? That that the body, mind, sense complex, as it were, has been made as a house. So the body, mind, sense complex, along with the buddhi, etc., is a house. House for what? Atma. So the Atma, but at the same time, next point, we must not think that the Atma is housed in the body and has become stuck in the body, mind, sense complex. That would be a terribly wrong conclusion. And in fact, that is what one feels in samsara. Let me out. I am bound by this body, I am bound by this mind. You are not bound by the body, mind. This is what the Bhagavad Gita says repeatedly. So this as though house is like a pot which is housing, as it were, what? Space, pot space. Even though we call it pot space, room space and bathroom space, outdoor space, there is all those qualifications are what? Mithya. They don't really count, because there is no such thing as pot space. Only from the standpoint of my own ajnanam, we say pot space, because the space is not confined to the pot. But I look at it that way because of my own limitations. I look at the space and say, oh, this is pot space, this is room space, this is kitchen space, bedroom space, closet space, bathroom space. I give the space certain designations, and not only that, I also grade it accordingly. Bathroom space, oh, dirty space. Puja room space, clean and pure space. So the purity that which is ascribed to the puja, the place where the puja is being conducted, has been transferred on to who? Space. And the impurity called bathroom space, that impurity has been transferred to what? Space. Space is free of being either pure or impure, it simply is. It's always pure because it doesn't take anything on. And so in my mind there are these gradations, and in my mind there are these distinctions, and so it is told that the Atma is housed, as it were, in the body-mind-sense complex. So there is no pure Atma, there is no impure Atma, there is no in-the-middle Atma. It's not like the Atma of the thief, the one who is just looking around. What can I pick now? Whose pocket can I pick now? Who can I give instant vairagya to? This is what the person is thinking. And then that person, the person's thinking may be impure, but Atma, the person's Atma is not impure. And neither is there a holy Atma, because somebody is sitting in meditation for long lengths of time and somebody is keeping on doing japa, somebody is keeping on doing seva to others. So what is the conclusion? Because this is a very holy Atma. We say that, Punyatma. And then what do we call the other person? Papatma. This one is Mahatma, that one is Adhama Atma. Atma is free of papa, punya, adhama, mahan, nothing. Even though we have it, this is the limitations of the language. There is no punyatma. Punyatma is a very wrong word to use because punya and papa go together. So if punyatma is there, what else is there? Papatma is also there. And we pray, in the prayer also it comes. Yani kani cha papani janmantarakritani cha tani tani vinashyantu pradakshinah pade pade papoham papa karmaham. One is saying like this. I am an embodiment of papa. Papatma papa sambhava. This is just from a standpoint. This is a prayer of atonement. You are supposed to go around, even as you say, call yourself Papatma, this is itself, by the action itself, that epithet of Papatma has been denied. How? Because you are supposed to go around the Lord, Pradakshina. But many times it's not possible. Why? The temple is in a constricted area, there is no place to go around. And so what do you do? What do? You go around yourself. That means what? That means the Lord is here. You are going around the Lord. You are going around the self while calling yourself Papatma. Think of the irony. No Punyatma, no Papatma, only Atma. The Atma that is ever fresh, ever pure, never tarnished by associating with anything else. So if we call ourselves Papatma, then we have to think of an example. It is like putting a dirty cloth next to the crystal and then saying the crystal is dirty. Dirt belongs to what? Cloth, not the crystal. So crystal is Atma, and this Atma, which is the direct meaning of the word I, Aham, it has to be understood as I, and this Atma, even though it's in a Mala Sharira. Mala Sharira means in a body that has all kinds of fluids and dirt and dust and everything needs to be cleaned all the time, and this Atma is as though housed in a mind about which we can only say never mind, that kind of a mind. And then these kinds of sense organs, the sense organs that are running behind sense objects, the mind that is scheming, calculating, how can I get more out of somebody else, how can I manipulate somebody else, how can I extract something out of somebody else. This is what the mind is going. And a body that is mostly born in tamas, lives in tamas, and then you don't even know when it has died, because even when it was alive, it was like a dead body anyway, like a zombie. The person was going around. So the Atma is not affected by anything that it touches, by any association. Why? Because the association of the Atma in this house, quote unquote house called the body mind sense complex, is like what? Is like putting Mithya and Satyam together. Mithya and Satyam cannot be friends. You can have friendships of the strangest species. You can have friendships. Owl and the pussycat went to sea in a little pea green boat, and it took some money and some honey wrapped in a 5-pound note, like this. So owl and pussycat can go on a boat, but not Atma and Anatma. The very thought is very, very, very funny. Just now also it had come in the news. One cat made friends with a baby owl and then brought it home, wherever the cat was owned by somebody, and the owl also now is coming to the house. That is like that. So strange friendships, interspecies friendships can be there. Anything is possible in this Adbhut, this Jagat, which is unique, which is marvelous, which is magical. The only one unholy combination is not possible between Atma and the body mind sense complex. The Atma will never get co-opted to think like the Ahankara, to be battered by the problems of the body, and to be under the depressive spell of the mind, under the anger of the mind. So any kind of attributes that are there connected to the body mind sense complex are just transferred on the Atma, and that's why there is no cause for grief. This transference of the emotions onto the Atma becomes the cause of grief. Who is doing the transference? Ahankara. I am doing the transference. And so verses 11 to 30 in chapter 2 ask you to politely withdraw this transference in the light of this fact, in the light of this knowledge that the Atma does not is not affected by whatever happens to the body mind sense complex. Now, if this much is understood, let us go to one more point. Atma is not the doer, nor is it subject to the doings of the body mind sense complex. Atma is akarta, naturally akarta, because we have to think, what is this Atma? So in order to do something, what do you need? You need karana, correct? You need instruments. Like hands and legs, you need to do something. You need to, if you want to make a mala, you need hands. You need flowers. You need a piece of string. And you also need the buddhi. So supposing somebody doesn't know how to make mala, you give it to them, it will just be a mess. So you need the buddhi, the know-how of how to do this. And you should go in South India, in front of temples, these ladies will be sitting. They won't even be looking either at the flower or at the string or their hand. It's just like magic. In 1 second they will have woven this much of mala. Amazing it is. So you need the buddhi, you need the raw materials, plus you need your own karana. Karya karana sanghata is needed, without which kartrutvam cannot be there. And you need one more thing there. You need somebody to say, I done it, I did it, I made this mala. Only, of course, people will raise hands only for wonderful things. Who did this? Me. What a terrible job. No, it was him. So, only we want credit. We don't want any debit. Debit is not there, only credit we want. And so therefore, here this Atma cannot be karta. Why cannot it be karta? First reason in this subsection of Atma not being karta is that it is niravayava. It has no parts. Avayava means parts, limbs. It has no limbs. So you ask Atma, give Atma some flowers and say, okay, make for Gangadhareshwara and for Pujya Swamiji, make 2 malas, one for this temple and one for that temple. Please make 2 malas. What will Atma do? It cannot do anything, poor thing. Why? Because it's in a very, very difficult quandary. What is the difficult quandary? What are the flowers? Atma. What is the string? Atma. What is the temple? Atma. Everything being Atma, it cannot be the doer of anything to anybody, it cannot be the actor. Actor means there should be a difference between the one who is acting, the karta, and the one who is acted upon. Who is that? Bhokta. There should be at least 2 things. And what are we studying here? Advaita. Oh, really? Yes. Advaita. We are studying non-duality, so this non-dual Atma, if you say, it is incapable of doing anything else. Not only is it incapable, it is just not interested in doing anything else, because everything not being separate from it. It cannot do anything else at all. It absolutely is akarta. It has no avayava, number 1. Number 2, everything being non-separate from the Atma, what will it do? Who will it do to? Kam ghatayati, hantikam. Who will it kill? It cannot kill itself because it has no parts. It cannot kill another because in its dictionary there is no other. It doesn't see anything that is other. So what can it kill? Even if it were to kill something, it will kill anatma. But even that it cannot do, and it won't do, because ultimately what is anatma? Non-separate from atma. Anatma has to be included in atma. Atma is free of being anatma. This we have to understand. So for these reasons, atma is not the karta. And then atma is also not, next point, bhokta. Bhokta means recipient of somebody else's actions. Can the atma be the recipient of somebody else's actions? No. Why? Because it is satya. Everything else is mithya. Mithya cannot make a war cannot attack satya. Why? Mithya non-separate from satya, and mithya dependent reality, ultimately not there. Mithya needs satya to cognize. And if satya says you don't exist, poof, how can it attack? What can it do? Nothing it can do. It's like the shadow. If your own shadow comes at you with a blunt instrument, it's impossible. Why? Because you command the shadow, you cast the shadow. And the shadow, what does it do? It's a sad mimic of you. And similarly, whatever is anatma, including this ahankara, is a sad mimic of the atma. So anatma cannot destroy atma. Can atma destroy atma? Atma cannot destroy atma, because there is only one atma. And also what kind of atma? Limbless, partless atma. So the 3 forms of destruction that we studied are not available for atma. What are the 3 forms of destruction? Sajatiya nasha. Sajatiya vinasha means something like it can destroy. Like one diamond can cut another diamond. Is that possible for Atma? No. How many Atmas are there? Non-dually 1, we have to say. 1 means we can have half also. So therefore, non-dually 1 Atma is there, and so it cannot do anything. And then vijatiya vinashaha. Vijati, anything other than Atma is there, unlike Atma? No. Why is it taking so long? Yeah, to even say no. Is anything there other than Atma? No. And then you can have self-destruction. Is self-destruction swagata nasha? Is it possible? No. Why? Because it's already the indestructible self and limitless self, and also it doesn't have any parts where the left hand can cut the right hand, etc., etc. It cannot do that at all. It absolutely is free of destruction, and so it cannot be destroyed by another, it cannot be destroyed by mithya, because mithya is ultimately satyam. Mithya is a projection of the same Atma, just like your shadow is projection of you. So that which is a projection cannot swallow the reality. That's basically why it is free of being hurt or being killed or being the bhokta. Bhokta means what? Recipient of other people's actions. So it's neither the agent of action, nor is it the victim of other people's actions. And so this is the vision that is given. And also this indestructible Atma has no beginning, no middle, no end. And because it is no beginning, no middle, no end, it is free of space and time. Space and time, this is the final point, are constructs of the Atma. Space is a construct, a projection of the Atma. Time is a projection of the Atma. As it says in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Tasmad Atmanah Akashah Sambhutah. This Akasha was as though born from the Atma. Akasha means what? Space. Glad no one spaced out when the answer was asked. And then space includes time. When the Upanishad says space was as though born of the Atma, we have to say as though, because nothing is really born, nothing is gone, nothing is born. But from the standpoint of the manifest Jagat, we have to make some excuses for this Jagat, because we are not in a position to say the Jagat is no longer here, all that is there is the Atma. We are not in that position, so we make some, give ourselves a little bit of a leeway to recognize this interim reality, empirical reality, vyavaharika satta. Paramarthikataya, from the standpoint of the absolute reality, we ask the only one question. What is that? What Jagat? What Jagat? If something is non-separate from Atma, why do you have to count it? You don't introduce yourself to somebody, says Namaste, and say Namaste, I am so and so, plus this is my right hand. Do you go like that? No. So similarly, Atma with Jagat, Atma doesn't have to say I am with Jagat, I am without Jagat, it's all the same. Jagat is not separate from the Atma, and the Jagat is a mithya projection of the Atma. So really, when one is fully in this knowledge, the Jagat is Vismriti Prayaha. Vismriti Prayaha. Prayaha means mostly. Vismriti means mostly forgotten. Mostly forgotten. Jagat is mostly forgotten. And you see that with some of the sadhus, etc., who are constantly, they are not active in the world. Their prarabdha is to just be with themselves, and then they are just in a trance most of the time. And then you go to such a Mataji or Babaji or whatever, and you say, I'm having a very hard time, I'm sad, I am upset, somebody said something to me and nothing is cooperating, I didn't want it to rain but it is raining today. You tell such a person that and they will say, Sab Brahm hai. Koi problem nahi hai. There is no problem, everything is Brahman. Pujya Swamiji used to have a friend like that. And then all the people would go, people, even though they received that answer, it was not off-putting for them. They still went and talked to all the problems. So he would listen. Listen means what? He was just half eyes open and somewhere he used to be. And then they would go and tell all their problems, and he would just somehow come out of it, because they would shake his leg, they would shake his shoulder, bring him out, and then say, you see all this I have to tell you, and I have told you all this. And he would look around, if there was any prasada there, if somebody had given, he would hand that and say, Sab Brahm hai, everything is Brahman, there is nothing wrong with you, because there is nothing there to be wrong with you. And he would send them off, only for them to come the next day. So people didn't stop coming, even though he was absolutely useless as a psychotherapist, as a counselor, because he did not recognize that there was any problem. If the counselor therapist means what? You should accept at least provisionally that there is a problem. Here even interim recognition is not there. Jagat, what is this Jagat? Vismriti prayah. Jagataha, of this Jagat there is only forgetfulness most of the time. And so are we ready to go there? Say no, so we can move on. No. So therefore we have to acknowledge this interim reality, which is called Vyavaharika Satta. Why? Because there is something objective about this also. We say that the Jagat is non-separate from Brahman. It is true, Sab Brahma hai, everything is Brahman alone. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, true. But what do we say? We say that this Jagat is leaning on Brahman, is dependent on Brahman. It does not have an independent reality, but it is Ishvara's creation. We bring in Ishvara here because we cannot go further. The Tvam Pada Vichara is only for so long. Afterwards, we have to bring in Ishvara, the ruler of the universe, because we are living in a manifest universe. So then we go about like a little bit of a detour. What do we do first? We Ishvaraize the entire Jagat, and then because of this knowledge, we see everything not as the Jagat separate from Ishvara, but we see everything as Ishvara alone. And then the ultimate understanding, step number 2, I am non-separate from that Ishvara. This is where we are headed. So now the first portion of this giving of this Atma Jnanam is complete. It is total and complete, because Atma is Akarta. Atma is not part of the body, mind, sense complex. Atma cannot hurt, cannot get hurt. Atma is not Bhokta. Atma doesn't have beginning, doesn't have end, doesn't have middle. Atma cannot be destroyed by anything, anybody, ever. What is Arjuna doing? Arjuna should just, dust himself off, pick up his bow and arrow, make some noises, ra, 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 he should beat his chest, and then go into battle. Is he doing that? No. Does Sanjaya say, Sanjaya uvacha? No. Sanjaya is not reporting that Arjuna is getting ready for battle at all. What is he doing? Still sunk inside the chariot, sitting. Maybe he is not actively weeping, but he is still swimming in the little puddle of tears from the last chapter. This means what? What does this mean? The knowledge has not worked. The Paramarthika Satta, the giving of this knowledge of Atma, from seeing from the standpoint of the Atma, this consciousness, this awareness which is myself, that obtains as a Sakshi. This Sakshi is indestructible. So the Sakshi in me is the same as the Sakshi in you. The Sakshi in you and the Sakshi in me is the same as the Sakshi in Bhishma, Drona, Duryodhana, all of them. So therefore, even if you kill the body, you are not actually killing, you are a nimitta, you are an instrument to Bhagavan's doing, that will be told later. And even if you kill them, they will not die, the Sakshi is intact, nothing happens to the Sakshi. Arjuna is not convinced at all. Why? Because this knowledge of the absolute reality needs some prep. We need some prep, just like cooking. So you have a big pumpkin and you want to make sambar. What do you need to do? You have to cut it first. Yeah, you have to cut it. It's not easy to cut a pumpkin, okay? Yeah, you have to sit and cut it first. First you have to gather all the ingredients and you have to cut it. Otherwise, if you are Bhima, you will not bother cutting it. What will you do? You will get one more pumpkin and smash the two and then put it in the sambar. This is called Bhima Paka, Bhima cooking. Bhima's style of cooking was like that. You bash up two things together and then call it a done deal. Also in the Mahabharata, there is another king, one character called Nala, who was also a very good cook. But unlike Bhima, who could cook for 300 people at once, and with this pumpkin bashing business, Nala was just like a Michelin star cook, like a very gourmet chef, everything, like the kind of person who will cut the carrot into the shape of a rose and keep it on the salad, and the one with, what is that called, with the zucchini, and some kind of a thing, squash, you grate it, and it's a particular kind of grating called julienne it, and then you make it into pasta, grain-free pasta dish. All this Nala would do. Very, very nice small batches of gourmet cooking, not Bhima. Okay? So, now, pumpkin means what? You have to cut it, then you need to have all the ingredients together, then you have to cook it. So there is a lot of preparation involved, even in the act of cooking. In any knowledge there is preparation involved, and when the preparation is lacking, then what happens? The knowledge will not sit. This is a no-brainer, naturally. So if you want to do PhD in physics, you can't say, okay, I have done my 4th standard and now I'm going to enroll in a PhD program. Of course, there are some child prodigies, but those are exempted. The regular person cannot say that. You have to finish high school, you have to finish college, you have to finish a master's degree, then only you can think of a PhD. So in the same way, here also, prep is needed. So Arjuna's prep, where we don't know how much he was prepared or how much he wasn't, but nonetheless, his mind was cast by the spell of moha, a deluded love, a dysfunctional love for Duryodhana and company, which was almost like what is called Stockholm Syndrome love, where the tyrants, you love the tyrants because you think you love the tyrants because you are afraid of them, so you pretend to love them. That is what the child has to do. With abusive, neglectful parents, the child has to pretend it loves them because it is dependent upon the parents for its very well-being. So Arjuna obviously has a problem here. He thinks they are good. He thinks they are just like himself. And then he is not ready to fight even after getting the holy knowledge of the Atma, of this Paramarthika Satta. So therefore, the next place to go is where? Vyavaharika Satta. To talk about one's reality in the everyday. Okay, you can't fight them because you are not convinced that they are not going to die. Even though I have told you in all these verses that they are not going to die at all, you are not convinced. You still feel you are going to incur papa, you still have love and feelings for them. But have you considered this whole battle and the war from the standpoint of your own duty? Swadharma. So this, the introduction into the Vyavaharika Satta from the Paramarthika Satta. Paramarthika Satta means what? Absolute reality. Into the Vyavaharika Satta. Vyavaharika Satta means what? The empirical reality is made very beautifully by the Bhagavad Gita, by Lord Krishna, by going first into the Pratibhasika Satta, Arjuna's own subjective reality. Mired as he is in the Pratibhasika Satta, the Paramarthika Satta knowledge did not make any dent in his mind. Absolutely no effect. Why? because he's got clouds or eclipse of subjectivity coming in the way of assimilating this knowledge. So therefore, what needs to be done? The subjectivity has to be removed, and then he has to, from pratibhasika, from one's own personal subjective reality, one cannot jump to paramarthika. You cannot do that. It's too much of a quantum leap. So you have to live first in the interim reality, and then from there make inroads into paramarthika. So with this idea, Bhagavan is now going to bring Arjuna into the empirical reality by reminding him of what his own duty is. Because he is not even living in the empirical reality. He is living in his own world. From living in his own world, he has to be brought to abide in this objective world as Ishvara Srishti. And for that, the best way of understanding this world, what world? The objective world of Ishvara Srishti, the interim reality, also known as Vyavaharika Satta. The best way of doing that is by understanding the concept of dharma. That is the best entry point. And the Gita, it just excels in this beautifully. Dharma becomes important because just like the various sattas, various realities, there are various iterations of this dharma. Very beautiful. So what is this dharma? It can simply be understood as a universal matrix of norms by which we lead our lives, especially interpersonally. This has nothing to do with the paramarthika satta. There is no dharma, there is no dharmi, there is nobody following anything, there is nobody violating anything, because as we see from Nachiketa's question, the subject matter of this Vishaya, this Atma Vishaya is what? Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat. This has nothing to do with the dyad of dharma, adharma, good, bad, etc. Nothing. The dharma, adharma becomes very important if I have to come out of my personal reality, the so-called non-reality where I am completely ambushed by the emotions and I am not thinking clearly. To bring oneself back, one has to take the help of dharma. Like for the drowning person, the rope of dharma is thrown into the well, and with the help of the rope, one comes back. So dharma becomes a something to hang on to until one gains this knowledge. So it's a universal matrix of norms by which we lead our lives, in the sense that every single violation in interpersonal relationships cannot be codified into a law. Cannot be. You can't complain to the government. What? I was going somewhere and I was in a hurry and this person pushed me and brushed past me. Is that even a complaint? The government has better things to do. This cannot be a law. Thou shalt not push anybody. You cannot make it a commandment, you cannot make it a law. It is just common sense. These are all common sense things. Similarly, you will not, you will not pick anybody's pocket. Why? Why you won't pick anybody's pocket? Not it's adharma. I don't want anybody to pick my pocket. This is what is called the golden rule. Samanya dharma is nothing but the golden rule. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. If you are a nice, decent person with acceptable behavior, that is the same thing you will also receive. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Do not do unto others what you don't want them to do unto you. Simple. This is what is called Samanya Dharma. And you just have to ask a few questions. Do you want to be cheated? Anybody? Raise your hands. See? No one raises the hand. Do you want to be defrauded? Do you want to be cheated? Do you want to be lied to? No, no, no. You ask anybody. That's why it's called Samanya. It's universal. You ask anybody, anywhere, at any given time. Hey you, do you want all this in their language? You go to China, ask in Mandarin language. You go to Alaska and whatever language they speak in the native Inuit language, you ask them. And everywhere the answer will be no, 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 no. Absolutely not. Therefore, for interpersonal relationships, I follow dharma. Because only when I follow dharma, other people will also follow dharma towards me. This becomes very, very important. This samanya dharma for interpersonal relationships becomes very important because we live harmoniously, we can live peaceably. Because I know I can put my bag down for 2 minutes, nobody is going to take it. Why? Because I don't want my bag taken and I am not going to take your bag. And so therefore I am following what is the correct thing to do. And this dharma later on is going to be revealed as not just a creation of Ishvara, but a manifestation of Ishvara. Wherever there is dharma, there is Ishvara. And with this dharma, wherever there is dharma, there is Ishvara. And then therefore what? If I am close to dharma, I am following dharma all the time, I am close to Bhagavan. I am close to the flow. And when I am close to the flow, I become one with the flow. Going with the flow, I become one with the flow. So this is Samanya Dharma. This brings us to the Vyavaharika Satta. From the Paramarthika Satta, we come to the Vyavaharika Satta. What is this Vyavaharika Satta? The empirical reality that is dependent upon Atma, the Paramarthika Satta. So if we can draw a big circle and inside write Samanya Dharma, it would include all the things you don't want to be done to you. It would include all the things that you won't do to other people also. But then, even though that is the case, the rules of engagement are very clear. What is Samanya Dharma is very, very clear. But then, life doesn't come with an instruction booklet. Life is very, very complicated, and life has certain situations where quick reflexes and quick decisions are necessary. For example, there is a law. What is the law? Please drive on the left side of the road. On the highway, where will you drive? Left side of the road. But then somebody is coming barreling in a truck on their right side. They are coming in front of you. So if you keep driving and say, I am a very good citizen, I will not break any laws, I am continuing to go on the left alone, nobody will survive if somebody goes like this. What do you have to do? Quickly look to the right, finding nobody there, move to the right immediately so that whoever this is, maybe their brakes are gone, maybe they are a stranger, and maybe they have come from America thinking they have to drive on the right. Who knows what they are, but let them have the space, let them not run into me, let me not run into them. Did you violate dharma or not? Yes, you violated dharma, but for what? But for what purposes? For a greater good. So that because of this accident, there was no pile-up of so many cars on the highway, so many lives were saved as a result of this quick action. Like this, many, many examples are there in the day-to-day. Ahimsa paramo dharma. Never, under any situation, cause injury in your words, in your action to anybody. But then, what does the surgeon do? The surgeon cuts the person open. And then what? Afterwards, All the family members come and hug the surgeon, say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Doctor, you are great, thank you. Why? Because the cutting was a lesser injury. If that cut had not been done, what would have happened? The person would have succumbed to the tumor or any other thing that was there that needed to be taken out. So yes, the cutting, it was an unkind cut, all right. But ultimately the motive is what? Kindness. And another ancient example, what is that? Rama is being driven away in the chariot by the minister. Rama, Lakshmana, Sita. They are going to be left in the forest. Why? Because of the promise given by Dasharatha to Kaikeyi, who suddenly decided on Rama's coronation ceremony day. What did she decide? That her son should become the king and he should be sent to the forest for 14 years. Forget 14 years, going to the forest for 4 days was lion lunch. That's all. You didn't come back in those days. That's all it was. You didn't come back. It was a certain death sentence, and 14 years, too much. But it had to be done because we lived in at a time in those days where we kept the given word. So the word had been given, so it had to be kept. So Rama trots off to the forest. He is driven in this chariot, the final ride out of the Ayodhya to the forest. Dasharatha calls out and he says, stop, stop, stop. And Rama says, no, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the minister says, it's nice of you to say keep going. You have a one-way ticket. I have to come back and face the king. And suddenly the king says, stop in the name of the king. And if you don't stop, your head will be cut off. Rama says, don't worry. You keep going and tell the king when you come back that because of the hooves of the chariot and the wailing of the people of Ayodhya, I could not hear you, Maharaj. Who is Rama? Embodiment of Dharma. He is nothing but Dharma from head to toe. Look at the Bharatnatyam dancer who depicts Rama. How will she stand? Like this. And the same dancer, you ask her to show Krishna, she will all be wavy. Krishna is Ananda Swarupa, it is like a wave. Ananda is not linear. Limitlessness has no line, has no shape, no form. That is how Lord Krishna is. Lord Rama, however, very erect because Dharma has no compromise. Here, the very incarnation of Dharma is telling the minister to lie, a blatant lie. Rama also heard the king's words, and then the minister also heard the king's words. How is this justified? Isn't this adharma? No. Why? The next sentence will be very clear. Neither my father, he says, nor the people of Ayodhya can stand a second farewell. So the lie was said, but it is for the greater good and the greater benefit of the society. And not only that, he himself is not benefiting in the process. That kind of an untruth, even though it is going against the dictum, what is the dictum? Satyam vada dharman chara. Here it's going against that, but it is not benefiting me. Similarly, like that, we have a doctor who is examining, who is examining a elderly lady, some grandma. And then the relatives request, please don't tell her that she has cancer. She will not be able to take it. Please don't tell her she'll be okay. And tell her she'll be okay because she is not prepared for this. And the doctor says, Grandma, everything is fine with you, don't worry. I'm coming to your house for a cup of tea, go home. And because the grandma is not ready for this news. At 89 years old, she doesn't want to handle all this. So it is respected by the family members and the doctors as an act of kindness to her. and nothing is gained by the family members. And so therefore this is what is called another circle. If we draw inside the Samanya Dharma circle, this is what is called Vishesha Dharma. Vishesha Dharma is the interpretation of Samanya Dharma at particular time and place. How should the Samanya Dharma be interpreted? That is what is Vishesha Dharma, still coming under Samanya Dharma, so that it is a concentric circle. Inside the big circle you draw one more circle, and that is what is Vishesha Dharma. And then we have Swadharma. What is Swadharma? In this scheme of things, what is it that I have to do? My dharma means here my karma. Swadharma is actually Swakarma. How do I connect with this dharma with my own actions? How do I connect to this dharma? This is called Swadharma. And Swadharma means two things. One is whatever I have to do, I have to do. Sometimes one is trained in medicine. And yes, maybe you don't want to practice medicine. Maybe you are thinking of leaving that and going and practicing something else. Okay. Or maybe you have already done that. You didn't want to practice medicine, but then you wanted to become a dancer, and so you became a dancer, left medicine, became a dancer. And then what happens? You are on a flight. There is a medical emergency, and they say over the intercom, any trained doctor, please come to the front. Somebody is having breathlessness, somebody is having cardiac issues. And then what do you say sitting there? I am now a dancer. They didn't call for a dancer. Who did they call for? Doctor. I am no longer a doctor, I am not going. No. You go, you run. You run and help because you have the skills. You are helping out in whichever way you can, because you are there in the right place at the right time. You engage in the help. This is Swadharma. Whatever needs to do, you are doing it. It's a no-brainer. You have parents, you are a son, you are a daughter. There is dharma. There are certain things which are your duties towards the parents. And you are what? You are also a mother or a father. There are some duties towards your children. You are a spouse. There are certain duties towards the spouse. You are a brother or sister. There are certain duties, because you are not born in a vacuum. You are born related. Even before you were born, somebody said, this is my grandchild. Somebody already claimed the relationship. You didn't even know how to say grandchild, you didn't know who the grandmother is, but the relationship is already intact. Somebody said, I am going to have a little brother or a sister. Your elder sibling said that. And somebody else said, this is my baby. The mother and the father said that. Somebody else said, this is my niece, this is my nephew. So one is born related. And how to negotiate these relationships? Based on what is it that's appropriate for me to do in this time, in this manner, is called Swadharma. This is part A of Swadharma. And what is part B? Part B is much more nuanced and much more interesting. What is Swadharma? Part B. Why am I in this particular body? Why do I have this particular background? Why do I have these skills and not other skills? It's not an accident. There is a reason why you have these skills. There is a reason why you are born in this body. There is a reason why you have this kind of a mind. And there is a purpose. Discovering that purpose is part B of Swadharma. Sometimes it takes life after life after life. Why? Because the raga dveshas are too many. The raga dveshas are sitting and eating the head. Therefore, it is very difficult to see, to express that Swadharma is difficult. Because I am skilled in this, but I don't want to do this. I know I can excel in this, but I don't feel like doing this. This is why this aspect of Swadharma takes a very, very long time to express itself. But its discovery is a must for one's own growth as a human being in the Vyavaharika Satta. But because of the shadow of the Pratibhasika, I cannot discover my purpose. I don't know my purpose. Of course, I know my ultimate purpose is to get moksha. But what is my interim purpose? What for I have this background? What for I have this? This has to be discovered. And to illustrate this, a story is told. Very interesting story. 2 pots were carried on the shoulder with the help of a, what is that called? A rod, a stick with ropes. So the pot would have a rope on its neck, and then it would be carried by this man up a small hill on which there was a temple, and then the 2 pots of water were used for abhisheka. One pot was an ordinary, proper pot. Another pot was a slight crack pot. It has a crack in it, and it felt very guilty. I'm not holding my end of the bargain. I'm supposed to carry a full pot of water for this Shiva temple, and I'm to bathe Lord Shiva. I am not able to do that. By the time I go up, what happens? Half the water is spilt. Half the water is gone, and therefore I am a bad pot. I am a useless pot. I am not worthy of even being called Abhisheka pot, because I am a sad pot. The pot had hopelessness. The pot went into depression because I am not doing what I am supposed to do. I am not doing my job. I am not able to do this. I don't have it. And then one day Lord Shiva came into the dream of this pot. And Lord Shiva said, let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk, you and I. Okay, fine. It dragged itself. It dragged itself, and Lord Shiva made the pot, made it climb that same hillock, the same route of every day. And the pot goes, I have PTSD, don't make me do this, because I am just traumatized. Every day I do this, and every day I am spilling the water. I can't do this. Why are you punishing me? This is the story of my life. And Lord Shiva in the dream says, look down, shut up, look down. And it looks down, suddenly sees all wild flowers on one side, and all the way going to the hill, wild flowers are there. The hillock is looking very, very pretty and beautiful. And it also sees the devotees going up and smiling at the flowers. Some of them are plucking the flowers for Bhagavan. And then he says, Lord Shiva says, look on the other side. On the other side there is just gravel, nothing is there. This is the side where you are dropping water every day. So in a way, even the so-called mistakes or imperfections that one has in the Vyavaharika Satta, when it is surrendered to Bhagavan, becomes a glory, no longer an imperfection. It in fact becomes a glory, because just like the pot was contributing even beside itself. And this is how it is. So most of the rest of the second chapter, just to give you a sneak preview, will be about making peace with whatever, wherever we have been placed by Bhagavan, making peace with that placement. Everybody has a job. There is no bad job, good job. And if the raga dveshas do not interfere, it's just a job well done. That's all it is. It's just a job that is properly done, as it deserves. As it should be done, the job is done. Like in a machine, there are different parts. There are stationary parts, and then there are moving parts. There is that piston, it goes like this, like this, like this. There is the wheel, that goes like this, like this, like this. And then finally there is the nut. How does the nut go? The nut does not move. The nut has to stay in place. But in this piece of machinery, the nut is not very happy. The nut sees the wheel moving like this and is jealous. The nut sees the piston going like this. See, all of them are moving and I am just sitting in one place. I also want to move. I want to show I can do all this. First it tries, nothing happens. It tries clockwise, nothing happens. Anti-clockwise, wee. It moves anti-clockwise more and more and more and more. And then what? The whole machinery falls apart based on this single nut. Why does it do that? I already told you, because it's a nut. It cannot think, it's gone nuts. It cannot think. I have to sit still. That is my prowess. Let me sit still better than anything else in this universe. I have to do. This time I am not a moving part. Okay, doesn't matter. Let me do whatever I do well, because that is my contribution. The 6 vikaras come and go. What are the 6 vikaras? From birth to death. All the 6 vikaras come and go. And that is a kind of a growth that is initiated by what? By nature. It's a nature-initiated, Prakriti-initiated, Ishvara-initiated growth. It happens to every single being, even to the human being. But for the human being, this 6-fold growth and vikaras are not enough from birth to death. For the cow, it is enough. For the dog, it is enough. It doesn't desire. If you go and stand in line for application to go to America or visa to go to Europe, you will not see a cow there. If a cow is standing in line, it is to eat what you may have a banana peel to give it. That's why it is standing there. It's not filling out any form. Oh, I want to be part of the hybrid cow program, Jersey cow program, let me go to New Jersey. It doesn't say that. It is happy being what it is. But for the human being, these undergoing this nature-based growth is not enough, is not acceptable. There has to be a growth that is initiated by oneself, a self-initiated growth to be complete, relatively speaking, as complete as one can be without Vedanta, relatively speaking, vyavaharically speaking, to be somewhat complete, relatively cheerful. I have to grow from being a consumer to being a contributor. That is where the growth is. And that means I have to discover what is it that I can, where is it that I can plug in? What is it that I can do? And when that discovery comes, I have to accept it wholeheartedly. I cannot go against that discovery, because doing that, the discovery of my Swadharma, clouded by Ragadveshas, is a very, very sad situation. Just like Arjuna. Who is Arjuna? Warrior. And what does he not want to do? Fight. Think of the irony in this. This is not just Arjuna's irony, it is a universal irony. Whatever I am good at, don't want to do it. Talk to the hand. I don't want to do it at all. Whatever I am not good at, what do I want to do? Do that only all the time. This is Arjuna's quandary, and by extension, everybody's, all the jiva's quandary. The jiva is unable to make peace with where it is placed in the family hierarchy, in the society, in the world. The jiva has no understanding of acceptance. Acceptance of that which cannot be changed. We are not talking of accepting that which can be changed. If you want to change something and you can, please change it. We are talking of acceptance of that which absolutely cannot be changed. And so that if it is not there, that is a sure recipe for samsara. If you want samsara quickly, right now if you want to instant samsara, like instant rasam, instant noodles, if you want instant samsara, go against every bone in your body and do what you're not supposed to do and don't do what you're supposed to do. Instant samsara ensues. On this morose note, we will conclude for the day. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.